You are now familiar with if and if-else statements and how to use an if-else to conditionally set a value for a variable. So far, you also have learned that you can connect multiple if-else conditions into one that executes the body of the first satisfied condition or the body of the last else block, if no condition is satisfied, as I've illustrated in this code example. In Kotlin, there is an alternative to this notation that developers consider easier to read and write. It's called the when statement. In the next couple of minutes, you will learn how to use the when statement as an alternative to the if-else-if statement, and you will also be able to explain how to use when with a value. Let's find out how to use the when statement. Start with the when keyword and then open the curly braces. Inside the braces, write a condition and the body that should be executed. Remember to close each set of curly braces. You can specify what should happen when no condition is true with the else block. In the end, only one body will be executed. It will either be the body of the first satisfied condition or the body of the else block. Let's explore a practical example of how to use the when statement. Here, I am using when to comment on password strength. The first condition it checks for is whether the password is empty. If it is, password cannot be empty will be displayed. If I specify a password that's shorter than 7 characters, then the second condition is accepted, and this password is quite short will be printed. If the password you choose is not empty and longer than 7 characters, then the else branch is chosen and this password is okay is printed. When can also be used as an expression. This means that instead of printing a value, you can just return the value. So this expression will return password cannot be empty for an empty password. It will return this password is quite short if the password is less than 7 characters, and it will return this password is okay if the password meets both conditions. But this value needs to be stored in a variable so it can be printed. I use text to show as the variable. When the body of the branch has only a single value or a single expression that makes a value, you can get rid of these braces. This results in a more concise syntax. Notice that it still prints the password is okay when the password meets the conditions. Password cannot be empty when the password is empty, and this password is quite short when the password is too short. When can also be used in another way. Let's unpack how this works. If you add a parentheses with a value directly after the when keyword, you can specify values to compare your value to. In this code, the value of number is 1, so 1 will be printed. When the value of number is 2, then 2 will be printed. For any other number value, big will be printed. Let's explore another example. This time, I compare string values and answer the question, does the user have access to a document? So, when the user role is admin, they have access to all documents on the system. When the user role is empty, they have no access to any documents on the system. In any other case, check if the user is the owner of the document. You should now be familiar with the when statement. Good work.